I think my stream was not working. Has the stream started now? Ah. I don't know what happened there, but the stream stopped working? That was weird. The stream should be back up now, I think. That was weird. I didn't notice the stream cut out at all. That was weird. Why did the stream die? I'm glad I noticed that before the race started, because
yeah.
it didn't even like tell me it had crashed. I just seen out of the corner of my eye that says the stream's offline, and I was like, why? I was so confused.
Your voice like lagged for like a few bits and then came back. That's all I can associate with it, really.
I'm guessing my Wi-Fi had a mini cutout or something. I don't know, or something had a mini cutout, but it makes no sense. Hold on, speak a second there, Cindy.
Hello.
I was just double checking that the stream can hear you. Yeah, it can. That was very weird. That normally never happens. Hello, Himmy.
Hello, good morning, good morning.
Why have you joined the commentary booth?
I did say I was gonna sneak in here, so...
Well, good morning and good night, Himmy.
Aww.
But anyway, we will have the drivers readying up in just a short while, a minute's time. Good opportunity for you to get a drink or a packet of biscuits, I don't know, as we will have the 5 red lights on in just a moment's time. With it hitting now 8:32, the drivers have been told to ready up, and we will have the 5 red lights on very shortly. Thankfully, we've got the stream up and going again. I don't know why it cut out. Hopefully, we have no more cutouts for the remainder of the evening. But I'm intrigued to see what strategies the drivers go for. If it were me, it would be only a one-stop. Well, I've seen a lot of drivers debating the 2-stop. We'll wait and see what they go for here in Silverstone Reversed, as we can hear the chimes counting down now. Who will win in Silverstone?
It looked like a few people had saved a pair of softs compared, or had gone softer compared, because they'd all started on the soft compared to mediums.
We'll have the 5 red lights on, and they're out as DZ Racer leads us into turn 1. Skeefy's not got a great start, as Ollie Bean on the outside already pushing as Dubsy down the inside backs out though, as off the track goes Ollie Bean, and polystyrene flying everywhere as someone's taken out some of the braking boards, as it seems everyone seems to have survived the first couple of corners, as the midfield seems to have gotten away well. No dramas early on. Anyone washing wide through Stowe? I think everyone survived. We've got Codzilla moving on tall and cool in the midfield here. A lot of drivers gonna head flying into Maggots and Becketts here, but everyone seems to have survived. Good start there for DZ Racer, as MB right on the rear of MB, and Codzilla dropping down to P14. I think he might have been in the wars, as Darth Tim's on the inside getting through on the Alpine. As Tall and Cool, I think, has some damage early on here, as D Summers battling side by side with Ellis. And can Ellis get round the outside? Ansu battling with Infrajack just ahead as D Summers gets through on Ellis. Ansu right on the rear, as Dubsy also right on the rear of Ollie Bean, looking for a move into the loop, but no move on. But Skeefy now under pressure from Ollie Bean, as Ansu's around, Ansu's off the track. What has happened to Ferrari? Down the order he goes, and a little bit of contact with the Red Bull from Ansu as well, who may drop down to the back, as we'll get the tyre graphic up. Dubsy, the only driver on to the soft tyres. I don't know if that's the right choice. Dub going onto the sauce here as Tall and Cool's got a 10-second penalty. I did say it was going to happen. Someone would get a 10-second, and there we've had it. But Infrajack now on the rear of MB, and MB seems to have lost DRS range from the cars ahead, and this may be an easy move for Infrajack into P7 if he can get round the outside with the DRS. But MB still keeping a wheel in there, but eventually has to back out.
Front three drivers are doing a really good job of keeping Dubsy back on those soft compound tyres. If they do it for around 4 laps, the mediums should become better. There's a yellow flag in the back.
Yeah. MB left
think
the
it
track
was-
there, and it allowed
Yeah.
D. Summers and Ellis through. So the driver who won in Silverstone facing the right way around, and now is a bit confused that we're facing the wrong way around, and hasn't gotten to grips with the reverse track as well as he did in round
MB had
2.
got on MB Darth Tim, sorry, behind MB. I got grass from the dirty air of MB going off, and that had allowed Lanky to go through onto him. They both had great starts, to be fair. Lanky and Darth Tim both up 3 positions, but very annoying to see for Darth Tim's there. Nothing he could have really done.
Yeah, now Codzilla on the rear of Darth Tim is putting some pressure on Skeefy, setting the fastest lap as Raheem gets the fastest lap up in P6. Raheem having a strong race here as we're here on lap 3.
Looks like those softs might already be worn out compared to the mediums, as Dubsy's already losing time to the front 3 ahead.
I will say, if it were me, I would never touch the softs on this game at any track. On this game, they just do not work, and I think we're already seeing that Dubsy on lap 3 maybe starting to struggle, and we may see him progressively fall further and further back, as they don't have an amazing tyre life on this game, and already the gap it's almost 7/10 as off the track goes Invade into the grass, but still keeping touching distance from the Ferrari as Raheem joining this battle along. And the next battle is Andrew and Codzilla. Andrew getting through on Cod as Ansu on the rear of Codzilla, the Alpine, and sticks his nose in as the Ferrari goes side by side with the Alpine. And the Alpine, oh, more contact between Ansu and Codzilla. Damage for the Ferrari driver. And not the ideal start for Ansu at all. Has been involved in the wars here early on. As Ellis down the order. Lost about 3 positions there. Does Ellis have some damage here? Did he have contact? I think right end plate missing for the Williams. And yes, it is. Right end plate gone for Legeman. And down the order, Ellis goes for the Williams team. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ollie Bean on the rear of Skeefy. And Dubsy going to try and get through an Ollie Bean. But does he have the grip on those soft tyres? Not quite sure. We haven't seen much moves up the front yet. Silverstone, a bit of a procession here up at the front, as the midfield appears to be where all the battles are currently, as Andrew now on the rear of Ellis, who's still carrying that damage.
It looks like Dubsy just has a really dirty air dependent setup, as though every time he gets close to the car in front, his car will just become really unstable. As Ollie's dropped out of DRS from the front too, and Skeefy and DZ Racer looked like they were just fighting through Luffield, I believe, then.
Yeah, Skeefy was having a little look on the inside, but no move on there. But Aston Martin behind, crucially, has lost DRS in this train. And Ollie Bean's going to get back inside it as soon as possible. Otherwise, Skeefy and DZ Racer could clear off down the road, and it could be a 2-horse race very quickly here, as the Aston Martin trying to get back inside DRS range from Skeefy. And I think he has done it. The gap now at 7/10. Can the Aston Martin stay with the leaders here, as Dubsy also wants to hold on to this battle, but how long will the softs hold on? I think lap 7 might be the limit on the softs. I'd be surprised if they go any longer, because the tyre wear at Silverstone's bad on the mediums, never mind on the soft tyres. I can't imagine what wear they're on already. I think he might be in the 50s. I'd be surprised if he's any lower than the 50s, as Ellis and Andrew battle as they head up to the hill at Stowe. We've got Codzilla joining this battle. And can Andrew find a way through an Ellis with the DRS? Unable to, meanwhile.
Who might want to go into the end of those hards from pitting on lap 1 with damage? It's very possible to do so with the hards on this track. I've seen many of times done it before at regular still with Stone. And with reverse having more high speed corners, the wear should be less. It'll still be a bit extreme compared to other tracks, as Ansu has gone wide trying to battle Godzilla and Andrea, I believe.
Yeah, we also seen out of Cops Skeefy running wide, and that almost opened the door to Ollie Bean, trying to make the move on the Haas driver. Meanwhile, Dub Z, Gap City at 10s. He's still holding on to DRS, but how much longer? Has he lost DRS just now? I think if he is doing a two-stop, I think this might be the lap to box, and he does come in. And Skeefy also coming in. Skeefy committing to the two-stop early here. And we'll keep an eye on the two-stop runners. Invade and Raheem now have formed their own little train. Ollie being going to try and stick with DZ Racer. Now is an opportunity for DZ Racer to pace off down the road if he is doing the one-stop. And now it'll be a battle between the one-stopper and the two-stoppers here. We'll keep an eye. Both Dubsy and Skeefy in very early. I think Dubsy was at the limit of his soft tires. Meanwhile, Skeefy was on the mediums, so we'll keep an eye on how he gets on. Meanwhile, Raheem right on the rear of Invade as they head through Maggots and Beckets. And Invade, who did dominate in the opening round of the season in Bahrain, did say Silverstone's not one of his best tracks, and in round 2 and this leg hasn't really been challenging the podium as Raheem now picks the outside of the Haas driver. Side by side they go, and into Lovefield, Raheem ahead. As in behind we've got Infrajack and D Summers also battling here. Ollie Bean still in touch and distance from DZ Racer. And I wonder, is Ollie Bean one of the drivers who's running that lower wing setup, because he has lost touch sometimes, but then through a couple of corners he'll just immediately gain it back as he's all over the rear of DZ Racer through the final corners. Talon Kull picks up a 3-second time penalty. But DZ Racer recharging now as Ollie Bean trying to stick with the Red Bull driver here as Invade comes in. So does Infrajack and D Summers. Lanky as well. Honestly, I'm very surprised to see so many drivers doing the two-stop here. I would have thought the one-stop was definitely the way to go, but I think you said, Cindy, that we may see a lot of two-stoppers here, and we already have seen many two-stoppers.
I mean, you could easily drag the hards 2019 laps here, especially with the how tyre wear is compared to older games like 23 and 22. It's a lot less wear on the hards than it has been. So I think they're just gathering the options compared to the one or two stop, depending on how clean the racing is, if they think it's going to be safety cars, etc. I just think they're giving themselves the option to go into that two stop in case they think they can catch back up and it is the better strategy overall. I think
Meanwhile,
Easy Racer is also checked out compared to Ollie.
Around the outside of Cops, Andrew through on Alice. What a move there from the V-Carb driver. Absolutely brilliant. Ballsy move around the outside of Cops. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, DZ Racer now finally has that gap that he needs. And if he just carries on to lap 11 or lap 12 and then goes to the hards, I think surely he has this in the bag. I'd be very surprised. Although DZ Racer in on this lap, Ollie Bean in as well. Raheem going to stay on. Will Raheem be the only driver to one stop? Ansu gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Oh no, it gets a 10-second for exceeding track limits. He's had a spin at some point and it has given him a 10-second. I don't know what's happened there with Ansu, but a track limit penalty, that's rare you see that. He's got damage on the front wing, does the Ferrari driver, and surely into the pit lane he'll come now to fix the front wing, but I don't even know if it'll fix or if it'll take his 10-second off, because I believe if you get a 10-second via track limits, the game doesn't remove it.
It looked like his wheel disconnected. He had just gone straight off from Village, I believe, and it just slammed into the barrier. It was very weird to see. 10 seconds should be removed, though, I do believe. Yeah, and it is. He's getting stopped in the pits.
Yeah, thankfully it is, because I've seen on certain occasions where the game doesn't remove 10 seconds, which you'd prefer if it does. Meanwhile, Ollie Bean right on the rear of Invade, and even before Cops, Ollie Bean going to get this move done. And on the fresh hard tyres, it's just a lap difference, but Ollie Bean showing severe pace here as he tries to get back inside DRS range from DZ Racer. And I'd have to say, this is one of the quickest races I've seen from Ollie Bean in his WHF career, looking so rapid out there, and is really challenging for this win. It is on the cards for Ollie Bean, and they've boxed 2 laps later than Dub Z and Skeefy. Could their hards go to the end? I think it'll be a bit of a stretch if they can make them go to the end, but I think everyone now might be on a 2-stop except for the top 4. I'll be surprised if anyone who is on the hards currently is actually doing the 1-stop as Andrew comes in here on lap 9, and I think lap 10 is probably the earliest you could go on hards and go to the end, but if anyone else can extend, we will wait and see. As Ollie Bean back inside DRS range from DZ Racer, and Ollie Bean really showing the pace here.
It looks like DZ Racer, even with the 2-lap fresh at hards, hasn't got up to temperature yet, unlike Ollie, because he's not really been able to catch up to Dubsy and Skeefy.
Yeah, and Ollie Bean, who picked his first podium up last time out of the season, is now looking like could be one of the drivers actually challenging for the win here if he can hold on to the Red Bull, who was so quick in qualifying, but the Aston doing all he can to stay with the Red Bull, as Invade also trying to hold on to the Aston, but great pace shown from Ollie Bean currently. Meanwhile, I'm really intrigued to see how the 1-stoppers do. Raheem, B and Darth Timms. For me, Silverstone is only a 1-stop. I would think it's the same reversed, but I guess we'll wait and see what the drivers go for here.
I mean, theoretically, anyone could do a 1-stop from here. Everyone except Cole, probably, after putting a lap 1 onto those hards. It'd be a miracle if he could make it to the end on those. But a good recovery, though, up to P12. Has 10 seconds just being in the pit lane, unfortunately. But it'll be... I feel like he should at least be able to get P15 even with the 10 seconds. Because Ansu, unfortunately, with probably what happened with his wheel, probably won't be able to get much higher than P16 or P15, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like Ansu may need a safety car to get back into this race. Meanwhile, DZ Racer inside DRS range from Dubsy, who's 2 laps older, hard tyres. Ollie Bean joining this battle as well. Invade has dropped a little bit back out of DRS range on this occasion. And can DZ Racer make easy work of Dubsy, because Skeefy seemed to be one of the quickest out there today, but now that he's gone a bit early, could that allow an opportunity for DZ Racer? If he can get ahead of Dubsy and slingshot under the rear of Skeefy, he could be looking like one of the favourites. As Ty Clear says, Williams 1-stop, and you're absolutely right, it is a Williams 1-stop for sure, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Raheem can do. If Raheem wins, that would be absolutely beautiful. Promoted from Tier 3 last season, actually didn't have any wins in Tier 3 last season despite how great a season he had. But if he were to win in Tier 2 now, it'd be an absolutely splendid drive from Raheem if he can make it work. Meanwhile, Ollie Bean looking so punchy in behind DZ Racer. Raheem comes in now, and he is one of the 1-stoppers along with MB, and as MB also into the pit lane, as Skeefy now takes the lead of the race, and DZ Racer still following in behind Dubsy but unable to get ahead. As Ollie Bean leaves the track, was very deep, dirty air washing over the front wing of that Aston Martin, and that may lose him some time here, as he still is inside DRS range, but that mistake could have been big, and he holds on to it thankfully. Meanwhile, Raheem now exiting down in P9, I believe, as DZ Racer does get ahead of Dubsy out of Stowe, and now the gap is just at 1.5 to Skeefy. And if DZ Racer can get back inside DRS range, this will be crucial for his potential first win of the season. Meanwhile, Skeefy looking for back-to-back wins here in Tier 2.
This looks like no one can really save their battery. It's like they're all in like the teens or 20s compared to like Skeefy's 50%. With all this battling going on, it's just not helping them with battery or trying to get catch back up to Skeefy, sorry, as Dubsy has lost Racer already out of DRS.
Yeah, and Ollie Bean is going to want to make this move as soon as possible, because he was in touching distance with DZ Racer for a good part of this race now, and now he's on the rear of the Ferrari with slightly older hards. And he'll want to make this move as soon as possible. As DZ Racer getting back inside the window now. Does Skeefy have the pace out in front here to keep DZ Racer at bay? Or can DZ Racer catch him on these fresher tyres?
With all the battling going on as well, it might invite Invade to get onto this podium charge. He has been catching compared to what lap times the top four have been putting out. But well, now with them all stretched out, we'll see if he still has the pace to able to catch his podium positions here.
Yeah, Ollie Bean still following along the Ferrari as the Ferrari dropping out of range yet again as Raheem getting through on D. Somers. And a reminder, Raheem may be one of the only one-stoppers as Infrajack picks up a penalty. There may be a couple along with him, maybe Darth Timms and MB, but it seems like the majority of the other drivers out there may be two-stopping. We'll keep an eye because they all did go quite early. I'd be surprised if they are extending those hards to the very end. But we could see it happen.
It just doesn't look like a good race for Cole, because it looks like he's also underfueled, as he keeps getting his fuel light active as well every time he's coming around corners, which is not good in the slightest for him. He's on the mediums as well, so he'll have to pit again, which is very unfortunate. I think he went medium on the tyre select, unfortunately, so couldn't get the second set of hards on to finish the race.
Yeah, I think Tonkel had early damaged a similar sort of situation as Ansu, and unfortunately, it cost him big in this one. But you never know, a late safety car could gift them back into the race. We've seen a late safety car affect the race yesterday in Belgium, and we could see the same again today. Meanwhile, Ollie Bean on the rear of Dub Z, but does he have the straight line speed to catch the Ferrari? It seems like the Ferrari just has an absolute rocket ship on the rear, and Ollie Bean hasn't been able to get anywhere near the Ferrari.
Dubsy and Ollie are doing, it's just going to help Invade save his tyres and catch back up to Dubsy and Ollie, as Racer is checked out compared to both of them with his great race pace.
Yeah, but hasn't really caught Skeefy despite 2-lap fresher hard tyres as Ollie Bean on the outside of Dub. Can he work a move round the outside here? And on the inside of the next corner, still side by side these drivers are going to go. And has Ollie Bean finally got the move here as Dub round the outside? Does he have the straight line speed as they go side by side into the flat right hander? And Ollie Bean later on the brakes. I don't even think Ollie Bean braked there at all as Dubsy seemed to back out, wanted to live another day. As Ollie Bean finally into P3 in what has been one of his strongest races so far. But he's now 2.5 back from DZ Racer. I'm sure him battling with Dubsy has frustrated the Aston Martin driver in this one.
I do believe Dubsy is more focused on trying to keep the P4 than fighting for the podium, as I think he's just focusing on trying to not allow Invade to get any more time on him, battling with Ollie, as the pace difference is shown straight away, as he's capped 8 tenths in about 4 or 5 corners.
I wonder is anyone who, as you mentioned about the harder tyre allocation earlier, I wonder is anyone going to go like around this early onto hard tyres? You could go from here on hards to the end for the drivers who are two-stopping, so I'd say undercut is definitely on for some of the leaders if they do want to try it. But I think they may extend probably to lap 16 before coming in. But we'll have to wait and see. And DZ Racers caught around 4 tenths to Skeefy, so it took a while for DZ Racer to try and get some inroads in the Haas driver, but looks like he's finally finding his groove. Has those tyres up to temperature and he's now starting to catch the Haas driver. And can he get inside DRS range from the championship leader? Or will Skeefy continue to extend his margin? Meanwhile, MB and Andrew battle and a little bit of contact as they head through Brooklands. Is MB going to try and get back ahead here? And on the inside, as they head through the right-hander, and MB's going to back out, probably smart move. And Invade, as I mentioned, is going to be the driver to pull the undercut as Tall and Cool.
Looks like he's a puncture.
Invade does?
on the right hand side, front right, as he's in the pits.
It does. It kind of does. Thank you for the raid, Rio, by the way. Thank you, Rio Harris, for the raid. Welcome into the stream. Hope you're doing well. As we're here on lap 15, and Invade, if that's to be believed, almost had, or may have had, a puncture on entry there. And he only did 7 laps on the hards, so he's now going to do 11 laps on this next set of hards if he did have a puncture. So Invade might be screwed if he cannot manage the hards here.
We'll have to see when we'll have to select, like, if, for example, if Skeefy pits again or other people. We'll have to see if it looks like they've got a puncture as well. It might just be like a visual bug that might have happened, but like, if it, Cool might be round here.
Yeah, Cool off
And
in the grass as Lanky gets through on D Summers. As Codzilla on the outside of the Red Bull of Darth Tims. MB wants involved in this battle as well as he sends it late on the brakes. Round the outside. The Red Bull's still there. Skeefy into the box as DZ Racer takes the lead, but side by side goes the Red Bull and the Alpine with the Cyber driver wanting to get involved here. Andrew in the background as well. Keeping an eye on this battle, but we're absolutely nose to tail. As the yellow flags are round for Cool as well. Red Bull of Darth Tims defending from Godzilla. And MB watching this battle along. He wants to get involved. As many drivers into the box. Skeefy, Dub Z, Infrajack, Lanky, D Summers. Here on lap 15. Many drivers into the box. As Godzilla still on the rear. Invade picks up his first 3-second time penalty. As
With people like Raheem, he might have gone medium by accident and might be going for a double medium 2-stop instead, because that is still a very viable strategy around here. That might be why he went later onto those hard tyres, knowing he has only one set of hards instead of 2.
And Skeefy gets out just ahead of all this traffic as Dubsy's caught himself in the rear end of Darth Tims. Dubsy, who's just boxed, does not really want to be involved in the battle in the midfield, so he's got to try and make a move if he can. As MB on the outside of Cop's corner, and Godzilla off at Cop's corner, side by side they go, and contact as MB contact with Andrew, and Andrew on the inside of Cop's into the wall as Tall and Cool has been disqualified for facing the wrong way. As Godzilla and MB, more contact between these two. And not quite sure there what's happened at all in this lap as Ollie been into the box for the undercut, but major contact there. Not quite sure who's involved. As Raheem now into P2 with Ollie been boxing. As Invade through on Ellis. Major drama there on the lap. It's quite difficult to even tell what was happening. As Dub Z now still on the rear of Darth Tims, who seems to be parking that car, and he turns it on Dub Z! And that is a ridiculous move from the Red Bull. Safety car out, and that will benefit DZ Racer and Raheem massively. But Darth Tims just turns in on Dub Z and takes his front wing off and takes himself out of the race.
As we said previously, Raheem hasn't won a race in, I don't think, ever in this league, I don't think, he said. So this could be a perfect time for him to get on the hard tyres and win this race. He might not have the pace of the front runners, but looking at these racing the last couple of laps, if that happens again, if he just stayed out of the trouble, he could easily win this.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect timing for DZ Racer. Gets a free pit stop and will get out ahead of Skeefy. Raheem also with a free pit stop as well. And Raheem, if you're listening, please, dear God, take it. Last weekend we seen both Williams drivers stay out under the safety car, and everyone was bemused by what they were doing. And if they do it again, I will have to put my head in my hands. Please, Raheem, come into the pit lane as DZ Racer drifts into the pit lane. Skeefy, I think he'll stay out. Dub Z, unfortunately, will have to come into the pit lane to fix his front wing. And heartbreak for the Ferrari driver coming together with the Red Bull. And Raheem does come in, thankfully. The Williams drivers.
He will have to go to last place. He won't have any more tyres, so he'll have to pit twice.
Yeah, he'll have to box again onto another set of tyres. What does he have left? I'm not quite sure. Actually, he'll have mediums to use because he did start on the softs, so he should have mediums to
Yeah,
use.
yeah. It's either mediums or hards he has to use. No, he's used two hards. Yeah, you'll have the mediums to use here.
Which I would say is a perfect tyre, although what's not perfect is him having to fix his front wing, but we see a couple of drivers peeling into the pit lane just behind him, as DZ Racer has the mediums, which I'd say honestly is the perfect tyre for this ending, because they'll only have around 5 or 6 laps to the end, so it'll be perfect for DZ Racer, I think, to the end.
It also allows Ansu, after his horrible race so far, unfortunately not even his fault, I do believe, to maybe get back and get some positions at the end of this race and help those for the field, as they will both be towards the back of the field and could work together to get back up to a good points per aim position.
Yeah, both Ferraris down at the back, but they should hopefully get back into this race. Hopefully it gives Andrew and Ansu enough time to catch up to the safety car, but I think it should. They're not too far behind the pack, so they should get caught up by the end here. But who will win? This is going to be an interesting one. Raheem on fresh hard tyres in P5 was looking very strong on his one-stop strategy, but where will he finish is the question. DZ Racer on the mediums, who I'd honestly say that's the best tyre at the current moment. If the safety car had come out a couple laps earlier, I would say it wouldn't be, but his mediums will definitely last to the end and they'll be strong to the end, so I think DZ Racer is in the perfect position. Skeefy with 2 laps older hard tyres. Will he have the grip under the safety car restart to stick with DZ Racer? We will wait and see. And also I'm
There's
intrigued.
3 penalties in the field.
Yeah.
Like with Invade as well. That'll really hurt
In-
them with a safety car.
Invade, and oh, what has happened? What has happened?
It looked like Ellis had just teleported.
Oh no, the game is broken. And Raheem is now dropping down the order.
And Ellis is under the map.
Oh my dearie me. Oh my giddy aunt.
Oh, he's back.
And as a result, the Williams driver of Raheem has lost the position, as Ellis is onto the map again.
I think it's giving MB and double eagles on Ellis as well.
Oh,
Ellis, if you are listening, I would restart your game if I was you quickly.
yeah. He's gone through the map again.
It's just going to slow down the amount of laps Dubsy and the rest of the drivers will get to work through the field on their medium tyres, unfortunately. And it's to no one's fault.
I've pinged the Ledgeman to tell him he might need to restart his game, because this is a... I've not seen this bug in quite some time. The last time I seen it was in Kota, but I think that was last game I seen the bug, but I can't believe it's come back, and it's actually cost his teammate a position. I don't even think Ellis was that far up the order. I think it like teleported him forward in the track, because I don't think he was
Yeah.
P5. It teleported him up to P5 for some reason.
He definitely wasn't P5 because he got a bunch of illegal overtakes and moved to the side, and then was put onto the grass and teleported again. It looks like it's only doing it for this lap, for that lap, unless
Well,
it's only a Sector 1 bug.
Hopefully he survives.
Oh.
No, has he gone again? He's gone again. He's fell again. He's just been disqualified. Oh my god, this game sucks. Ah, terrible. Well, Ledgeman unfortunately disqualified because of a game bug, and there's not much we can do to fix that. Very heartbreaking for Ledgeman. He was having a decent race for Williams, but unfortunately out of the race, completely out of his control. There's nothing he could do. Just an absolute horrific game bug. As DZ Racer now will get us restarted here as we start lap 20. Under the safety car restart, can Skeefy find a move on the Red Bull driver? As it'll be a fun restart to watch. And Raheem unfortunately losing a place under that safety car restart. Infrajack now on the outside of Invade as we head through Stowe Corner. And Invade going to keep it ahead of Infrajack, but Infrajack round the outside makes it stick through Stowe. as Invade swaps to the inside of Maggots and Beckett's, and a little bit of contact between the Haas and the Mercedes, but they keep it together side by side. They go through Maggots and Beckett's. Raheem's got a beautiful angle of this battle as Inverjack looking this way and that to try and get through on Invade, but I think everyone has survived, but they have lost DRS from the cars ahead. The top three now, it's a straight fight for the win. Who will be winner here? It's
I mean,
gonna
luckily
be...
for Raheem, with the person he got overtook by on the safety car was Jack, who does have a penalty as well. So that's luckily for him. He doesn't really have to deal with trying to overtake him again just to get to the exact same spot.
Yeah, more contact in the background. D Summers left the track, and Dubsy has gained a position. I wonder, is that in any way related? As Inverjack battling with Invade. Invade going very defensive as the Mercedes round the outside looking for some room. Can he find it? And this is losing them all a bucket of time, as DZ Racer may have lost Skeefy from DRS range, as Inverjack round the outside. Can Raheem work his way through on the Mercedes driver? As Inverjack holds on to the place, but Raheem now all over the rear of the Mercedes, but the Mercedes has some damage here as Raheem with a lovely switchback, and can he get through on the outside of the Mercedes? Yes, he does. Beautiful move from Raheem, who's up into P5. Now we'll have DRS from Invade up the road. Meanwhile, Ollie Bean on the rear of Skeefy, who's lost DRS range from DZ Racer, who's looking for his first win of the season. And in round 4...
Raheem didn't have DRS there either. I think DRS might be bugged, because it didn't look like anyone had DRS in that pack there.
Well, hopefully it's not bugged, but we'll have to wait and see as we round Cop's corner. And Raheem does have it open, so it's fixed itself now at least. As Raheem now going to swap to the inside of Invade. Side by side they go, and Invade turns across the Williams driver. As they go side by side, next in behind it's Lanky on the rear of Inverjack, and surely team orders have got to come into play here. Inverjack has got damage and a penalty. Surely he's going to let his teammate through, you would think. But is Inverjack going to try and hold on to this place? We've got a very close pack in behind. Everyone looking very punchy behind. Lanky trying to find a move on his teammate, as in the background D Summers clips the rear of Andrew and actually has some damage on the front of that Aston Martin. And as we head through the right-hander, Lanky still following his teammate Inverjack, who is still holding on to the place. Will team orders come into effect? Here's Codzilla right on the rear of Lanky now. Can Codzilla get the exit as we head up to Stowe? Cod didn't have the best of qualifyings here, but has recovered a bit in the race. Up to P8 he is now on the rear of Lanky. Doesn't get the best of exits though, as Dubsy right on the rear of MB. MB trying to get through on Codzilla as well. But we're so close here, but no moves being made in the midfield. Everyone absolutely knows the tail. Meanwhile, Skeefy back inside DRS range from DZ Racer. Has DZ Racer made a mistake to allow the hard runners back in here? And this could be crucial for the potential race win. As MB through on Codzilla, who's washed out wide through Cop's corner, drops another position behind Dubsy as well. And Codzilla...
At this point, the hards should be faster than the mediums, with tyre wear being high on both softs and mediums here. But with mediums having the superior grip, a lot more grip compared to the hards here.
Oh, and DZ Racer goes very wide, and that's surely going to make sure that Skeefy's back in DRS range for the remainder of the race. DZ Racer had a strong start under that safety car restart, but as you mentioned, it looks like the mediums have already lost their advantage now, and Skeefy now is in range potentially to pick up a second win here of the season, as DZ Racer goes a little bit wide, exiting Vale there. And can Skeefy find a way through? Ollie Bean, I'm sure, wants to make a move here as well. Ollie Bean looking for a consecutive podium, but I'm sure if Ollie Bean is dreaming of a win here, if he can find a way through both cars ahead of him. Meanwhile, MB right on the rear of Lanky, and Raheem on the rear of Invade. Raheem possibly frustrated by the Haas driver. Raheem could have been one of the drivers battling for the win in this race, but has been stuck behind Invade, and now the gap is 4 seconds to the podium runners.
With Ollie's setup, I do believe he could easily get past both drivers if they are close. But having a lot less downforce and a lot more straight line speed than both drivers ahead, it could really help him towards his end of the race, trying to preserve his tyres, his battery, and a lot more of the factors. Even though Skeefy does have a lot more battery than both drivers compared to him.
MB battling side by side with Lanky as we're about to head into the right-hander. Still ahead is Lanky, as MB putting a lot of pressure on the Mercedes driver, who's still stuck behind his teammate, and possibly frustratingly so. I don't know why the team orders have not come into play here. I'm sure Lanky is shaking his fist in the cockpit. Meanwhile, here on the third final lap, we've seen an absolute cinema finale in Silverstone last time out, as D. Summers picks up a penalty as Skeefy got right up the rear of DZ Racer, but makes a little mistake, almost invited Ollie Bean onto the rear. We've seen an absolute barn burner last final 3 laps in Tier 2 last season here. Could we see the same as a big mistake from MB may invite Dub Z, touches the gravel. Raheem on the inside of Invade, past the back out. Very risky place to be going for a move there, as Lanky still on the rear of Infrajack, and his teammate is not helping at all here. I'm very surprised to see what's happening as Skeefy almost making a move into Cop's corner. But into Luffield, Kiani, shape for a move. Is he going to go for a dive bomb? DZ Racer covers it off. But is it a matter of time? We've got 2.5 laps to go as Andrew through on Codzilla. 2.5 laps to go in this race. Can Skeefy make a move on DZ Racer? Thank you for the subscription, Alfie. Welcome into the stream. As Skeefy goes wide again. Can it open the road to Ollie Bean? Ollie Bean right on the rear of Skeefy. And can he put pressure on the Haas driver? It just doesn't seem like he has the battery to use on Skeefy, as Skeefy has recovered despite the mistake here. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, and the win could still go anyone's way. Will it be DZ Racer? Will it be Skeefy? Will it be Ollie Bean? We'll have to wait and see. DZ Racer seems to have built a bit of a gap here to 8/10. But with DRS, surely Skeefy is going to close back in again as Lanky is going to get through an Infrajack. No, Infrajack is holding up his teammate. And now they're losing multiple positions. And what are Mercedes doing? They've lost to MB. They might lose out to Dubsy as well, who's got DRS on the rear of Infrajack, who's going to try and make the move happen. And Dubsy now up into P7, and Mercedes are absolutely capitulating here as Infrajack picks up another penalty. And he just will not let his teammate through. What are they doing?
Skeefy had barely held on to DRS this lap. I think it was exactly a second as they crossed the DRS detection point.
And Infrajack finally lets his teammate through, but it's too little too late. They've lost 2 positions in that battle. But Skeefy, as you mentioned, outside of DRS range, does he have the rear flap open? He doesn't here, but he's going to try and push to stay with the Red Bull driver here. But still all to play for.
Should be hilling on that Red Bull right now.
Yeah, we've got a lap and a sector to go. Can DZ Racer hold on to the victory here? Does he have the grip left in the Red Bull? Started with a dominant pole lap, over 2/10 on pole, but can he win the race here in Silverstone and pick up his first win of the season, or will Skeefy win this one? A lot.
I think Skeefy will only have one option, and that'll be after Cops into left field, but it's a very hard braking zone to get right and go into the inside for.
Yeah, he's got to stay close through Stowe and use the DRS up the hill into Maggots and Beckett's, but is he closing on the rear of the Red Bull? It doesn't seem like he's closed a massive amount, but if he has the grip here through Maggots and Beckett's, can he hold on to the rear? Meanwhile, Ollie Bean, I'm sure, is punchy as well. It's Raheem finally getting through and Invade into Maggots and Beckett's. And can Raheem hold on to that P4 as Andrew battling with Infrajack here as well?
Skeefy went wide to invite Ollie Bean through.
Ollie Bean now looking for P2. Can he look for a move? Skeefy covers it off well. And through Brooklyn's, Ollie Bean hits the rear of Skeefy, sends him wide. Can Ollie Bean get through on the inside as Skeefy going to try and hold on to this position, but has that cost these two a chance for the win as we're entering the final sector? And has the Red Bull done enough? It looks like Skeefy's just going to try and protect from the Aston Martin in behind and hold on to P2, but as we're about to round the final corner, it looks like the Red Bull, who started from pole, has done enough here, and DZ Racer will win in Silverstone reversed, followed by Skeefy and Ollie Bean, both on the podium again as Raheem finishes P4 for his best finish of the season. MB promoted to P5 ahead of Invade, followed by Dub Z, Lanky, Andrew, Codzilla. Infrajack drops behind Ansu and Codzilla as D Summers will finish down in P13, who seem to be involved in the wars here. But what an absolute barn burner of an end to the stream there. And that was a very interesting end, wasn't it, Cindy?
Yeah, Ansu had a really good end to the race, was last at one point. I was last for most of the race, actually, after his wheel had disconnected. And I got up into the top 10 after the safety car had come out. Tall and cool, and had, unfortunately, got disqualified for trying to turn around after spinning himself out somewhere. And same with Ellis. I unfortunately was getting thrown outside the map and up into the sky and got disqualified from it. It does say he had a DNF here, but he did get disqualified for it instead.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate for Ellis. Not much he could have done. Driver of the day goes to Lanky, although it's a bit of what could have been for Mercedes if Infrajack just had let Lanky through at the start of that safety car restart. You never know where Lanky could have ended up. Either way, Lanky dropped behind Dub Z, and I think he possibly could have even got invaded there with the penalty if Infrajack hadn't held him up so long. But a very interesting race there. DZ Racer gets pole, wins, and the fastest lap. Maximum points for DZ Racer here. But we're going to head into the Tier 2 interviews channel to interview some of the podium runners. And we'll try and get DZ Racer, Skeefy and Ollie Bean into the channel. And as we wait for the drivers to join in, we'll start off with Ledgeman. Ledgeman, you decided to fall through the map. What made you make that decision?
See, I recently watched the F1 movie, and I just thought that line is not optimal.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, Plan C, Chaos, just decided to drive through the map, cut a couple sectors, get ahead. Clearly, the FIA is not on my side, and they disqualified me. Absolute joke, if you ask me. But yeah, all jokes aside, that is so unlucky. I felt like I was actually having a really good race with my quality, and race pace was actually quite good, considering I didn't know I was racing until quite recently. But it's very unlucky. At least my teammate managed to bring back some good points, though.
Yeah, it was a very disappointing race because we were watching you out there, and you were having a very good race, and then all of a sudden you teleport up the road, and then all hell breaks loose. But nonetheless, Williams still take home some decent points with Raheem getting his best finish of the season in P4. And we'll interview Raheem in just a second, but we'll start with Ollie Bean, who finished P3, got his second consecutive podium of the season. Ollie Bean, it seemed at points in that race that even the win could potentially be on, but how'd that race go for you, Ollie Bean?
It went really well. I mean, by near the end, Skeefy made a mistake, and I got a little bit ambitious with it, but almost had him. I got undercut by Dubsy as well, so I wasn't able to put too much pressure on DZ Racer. But I kept with them, and 2 podiums in a row, I will take that. I've been doing quite well this season, so just going to look to keep it up.
Yeah, a very, very strong race, and a very, very strong podium. It's great to see you on the podium. But we didn't even see you battling with DZ Racer throughout that race as well. Did you think at any point you could even take the lead around the midpoint of that race?
Yeah, I was really pushing for it, but my tyres fell off a cliff completely, and I wasn't quite able to. I was actually at risk of a puncture as well, so I started really tyre saving to get to the pit lane. So I kind of dropped back from him a little bit after I got past Dubsy. But yeah, no, it was a great race. I was just not expecting the tyre wear to be that bad. It was so bad because I originally came into this looking to try and attempt a one stop, even though D Summers told me don't pretty much. But yeah, it was just really bad, the tyre wear.
Well, even though you dealt with the tyre wear, still a good race from yourself. And I was surprised to see the tyre wear so bad because I thought this would be a one-stop for majority drivers. And I think only 3 drivers out of the field really tried the one-stop. And one of those 3 drivers was Raheem. You weren't able to do the one-stop because of that late safety car, but we're glad you pit onto the safety car because unlike in Abu Dhabi this time, you pitting onto the safety car has benefited you massively and get a P4. How'd that race go for you, Raheem?
Yeah, I'm over the moon with it. I've been down in the trenches for a while now, so I'll take whatever I can get at this point. I think the one stop was definitely on for me. Before I come into this, I planned the 2 stop because I thought the tires were going to fall off, but they actually were completely fine in the race. I had Mike engineering, and he was letting me know everyone's tire wear around me, and yeah, I was in a good position. Obviously, the safety car came out. After that, I got stuck behind Invade for a while, but yeah, happy with the result.
Yeah, very strong race and great to see you up in P4. I know you've been struggling down at the back for a while, so it's great to see you finally show what you're made of, and that was a great race to show it. But congrats on the P4, and we'll move on to MB, who finished in P5. Now, MB, I don't think you had the best of qualifying. You had a really struggle start to the race, but somehow you've found your way back up into P5. How are you able to do it?
Most is probably just pace advantage, but even if it's a P5, I'm really unhappy with the result because I knew qualifying was a struggle, but I know I can do better in the race.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to watch what happened. It seems for me like P1, 2, and 3 went 3 right to turn 1, which caused, I think, Invade to brake a bit earlier, which caught me off guard and gave me immediate wing damage. And I have already thought about retiring, to be honest, because it sucks. It really sucks. And then after I switched onto the hards, it felt well, at least. And then I had the contact with Cordzilla. I always also look into that a bit later. And right after that, the safety car came out, which positioned me behind Alice again. And I got stuck in the last part of the race behind a few drivers, most likely the Mercedes. And yeah, maybe could have had the pace for P3, which annoyed me. But yeah, at least a P5.
Yeah, considering how bad the start of that race went, I mean, the fact you're able to get up to P5 and get some good points for Cyber, I'm pretty sure you'll take that. Also, what happened, Nuki? Did he vanish off the face of the earth?
Yeah, like I was driving behind Alice under the safety car and he just vanished. Then he reappeared in the last corner on the apex. Then he vanished again, appeared at the next apex, and then he was side by side with me on the grass in turn 3, and then he was gone. Like, this was really scary to see Alice just pop up out of nowhere and then be gone again.
I was also asking about Nuki, who was supposed to be racing today.
I don't really know, to be honest. I know he was driving an endurance race earlier for somewhere between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. our time, at least. And I don't know. He hasn't reacted to any of my calls. So I don't know. Maybe he just went to sleep or something, or made dinner for his girlfriend.
Hopefully he's just fallen asleep because I'm guessing after an endurance race you can be very tired, which I assume he was.
Yeah, probably. And tomorrow he has one with scones again. So yeah. Let's hope he is back next week. I want my teammate.
But anyway, good result in P5. I'm trying to wonder, is anyone else in here? We've got D Sommers in here. We've seen you in the wars, D Sommers, unfortunately. Down in P13 in the end. How was your race? It didn't seem like the funnest one.
Yeah, it was going well to start with. Then when I came in for my first pit stop, I ran into the back of Infrajack coming into the pits, so I couldn't change my wing even if I wanted to, because I crossed the pit entry line by the time I got the damage. So my first hard stint, I was running on a broken wing on the left-hand side. Not too bad, I could make it round, but lost ground on the cars ahead. Got my wing repaired, and then after the I think it was just after the safety car restart, I hit the back of Andre, and damaged the right side, so I lost even more speed round this track. But and then final lap I got a puncture on the front right, so yeah, my race just went down the toilet.
Yeah,
So,
definitely not an ideal outing at all. But hopefully next time when we come back, it'll be Qatar. And if anyone needs advice at Qatar, actually, I might race Qatar. I might give no one advice and just race. But as we return for Qatar, is Qatar one of your favourites?
Not really. I'm not exactly quick there, but I've got an idea what I need to do with my setup to make me a little bit more consistent. So hopefully I can get some decent points there.
Well, hopefully so, and I think that is a good place to end it. I'm just double checking there's no one else in here, because for some reason there's like 10 people in here, and double checking I'm not missing anyone.
You can interview me, you know.
Yeah, sure. But Cindy, do you have any more final words before we outro this?
I did have a question for Raheem about what was happening with Ellis, because I was wondering, since there was like the teleport thing on top of everyone and stuff, if he wasn't ghost or anything, will you get any damage from the people like around him?
Was that for me? Yeah.
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 But when Ellis had that issue, he was ghosted on my screen, so I just went straight through him. I didn't pick up any damage there, but it did say, I had to slow down and stop for a second because it said I needed to give the position back. Then I lost the position to Infrajack amongst that. And it was kind of telling me two different things at once, but I didn't pick up any damage.
That's lucky for you then.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you for that, and we will head out now. Thank you all for watching on board. This has been Cindy and WHFR here in Tier 2. We're going to raid for Froxy, who's doing UEC Assist Race in Monza. So make sure to follow him on our way out. Also, tomorrow we head to Vegas for Tier 1. I'm excited for all of the reports that will follow when we watch that. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, we will see you all tomorrow for Tier 1 Vegas. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye.